So today we're looking at the next set of cards for Origins, the first set of Riftbound Tcg. It will be the cards in the color blue, the Mind Rune. Let's go! Alright, so today what we're looking at will be the cards under the Mind color, the blue color here. The past videos we have looked at Fury and Calm. Now we are looking at Mind. Now before I actually get into it, I just thought of a cool or a different thing that I'd want to do when I start doing this, and that is to look at the legends under the color. It kinda will help give us an idea of what legends effect we are looking at, what decks we want to, or what we think when we start deck or building cards and building decks, which effects of which legends are we considering, right? I realized that I did that a lot, especially with the past two videos, but we never actually looked at the cards. So at least just a little bit of a refresher. If you guys are not familiar with the cards, at least you kind of get the idea of that. So what we have here, we have Kaisa, Daughter of the Void, tap 1, and reaction speed, add a rune for the cost, so for spells. So that's cool. We have Ari, the Nine-Tailed Fox. When an enemy unit attacks a battlefield you control, give it -1 this turn. Teemo, we haven't considered if we haven't looked at the colors in here, Teemo, but Teemo's here. This is the first time we're looking at considering this card. So pay 1 to hide cards with hidden instead of recycling a rune, and then return Teemo. So we'll see a Teemo card in here, hopefully, I guess, because there's two colors, but I'm assuming each color will have a color of each. So our Ari probably will have one here, Kaisa will have one here as well, Teemo. Next is Victor, Herald of Arcane, 1, tap 1, play a recruit unit token. And lastly, Lux. So for example, when we start going into this color, if we see a spell that costs 5 or more, automatically we think of Lux. So that kind of thing. That's why it's advantageous to actually look at the legends in here as well. I will keep this tab open, so, or rather just in here, so if ever I reference it, we can always go in here and kind of look at the cards there. Alright, so let's take a look in here. Yeah, we finished with the White Flame Protector last year, so go. So in here we have a 4-cost spell, Consult the Past. It's a hidden. Reaction, I think we draw 2. This. So now we're gonna do what we just talked about with Teemo, right? So in here, obviously the card is a little expensive, especially when we compare it to the Calm Rune draw effects. Right, they're a little cheaper. This one's a little more expensive. It is nice though that it is at reaction speed, so that's pretty good. But the biggest thing in here is this hidden here, because you can just recycle a rune to play it and pay it later for 0. That draw 2 from recycling a rune, that's very good. And now with Teemo, it's even better. It's basically pay 1 to draw 2. Now just keep in mind that in order to play a hidden, you have to control a battlefield, so just keep that in mind. But that's the downside that you get. But play from what the game entails, you will be controlling battlefields anyway. So really the true downside on this is that sometimes it's just dead in your hand, but it's a draw 2. It's a strong effect. What was the draw 2 in here? If I recall, there was a draw 2 that we looked at. Do not remember. I know this one was one of them. I thought there was one that's the Pot of Greed, but whatever. Either way, it's still really good. So potentially Pot of Greed as well. If you could do this on I think Timo would like this a lot. Draw is really strong, so yeah. But then other decks, it's probably good as well. You just put it just because you draw. If you really think about it, so unless your core deck is super reliant on specific combos and stuff like that, usually draws are really good. The idea being is that your deck is at a smaller count. So for example, if you play 3 of this, instead of getting a full deck, you have technically 3 cards less because you're just using it to draw and recycle. Obviously it's not black and white like that, but it's a little bit of kind of how you think about draw effects and stuff like that. So yeah. Next we have a 3/3 unit here, Eager Apprentice. While I'm at a battlefield, the energy cost for spells you play is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. Alright, so spells, I just want to, when you play a spell that costs 5 or more. So this one, I want to take a look at the FAQ or something like that eventually. I might put that in the text somewhere in this video if I do find the answer, if the reduction for the cost will apply to Lux. So for example, if you have a 5, then but if the printed cost is 5, that printed cost here, which I'm assuming it is, but I could be wrong. So, but in the event of anyway, this card is still pretty decent, right? Like for example, if we just look at Consult the Past here, you know, it's reduced by 1, so this becomes a 3 mana draw 2. That's pretty good. One thing though is keep in mind when this is at the battlefield when you get the effect, but like it's 4 spells, right? And one card or one legend that loves spells as well is this one right here, Kaisa. So cards that we talked about like Void Seeker, where it becomes 2 mana to draw 1, deal 4 to a unit, becomes really strong, right? So this card just reads very, very well, and I could expect this card to see a lot of play. Alright, next we have a spell, 5 cost, Falling Comet. Then action but deal 6 to a unit at the battlefield. With Lux, it's deal 6 and draw a card. Right. So this is basically what we were talking about when I first saw Lux. So I have a feeling a lot of the high costed ones are very control heavy. So like this, you deal 6 unit and draw a card. So yeah, I expect a lot of it like that. So Lux to be a very high control deck type. That's why I think she would be good. Let's go back to Lux in here. Yeah, it costs 5 or more, draw a card. So yeah, would other colors like it? Victor, I am not sure. You wanna basically spam, right? Like you wanna use your CP to play your units and then always have a CP to play this. I don't know if you have time to play. Well, maybe it's a removal because your dudes are small. Maybe you could play 6, play a recruit, so maybe playable in Victor. On Ari though, as we've seen in the Color and Calm, they have some insane spells in there. Something like Charm, something like the counter spells. So those cards, or rather in Ari deck, you probably won't see this play. You just probably rather play a Charm for cheaper and kill and force it to attack your big unit, or play like a Blitz, use that to kill something. In Kaisa, that this card's just overshadowed by the red runes or red spells that we've seen as well. So Falling Comet, it's alright. Definitely a Lux deck or Lux card though. Next is we have a 5/5 unit, Jeweled Colossus. Vision. When you play me, look at the top card of your main deck. You may recycle it. Alright, so basically scry. Um, and then this shield +1 while I'm a defender. So very, very blue effect. One thing that was gonna look is any information is good information. So knowing what your top card is, if it's gonna be helpful for you, you may want to keep it there, right? If not, then just pull it in the bottom. That helps out in a lot of decks. So something like this I could see getting played, especially something like Lux, right? When you want to know your options and make sure that you're ready for whatever your opponent can throw at you. So yeah, took 5/5, which is cool. So yeah, it seems like a good card because that's like the first time I'm seeing that effect. But 5/5 with shield, it's not the, it's pretty good though. So yeah, 3/2 lecturing Yordle tank. When you play me, draw a card. No, free draw. If you're playing blue, I think you just play this, right? It just draws you a card. So would you take a 3/3 over this? For the most part, most likely not, unless the 3/3 has an insane effect, just because draw gives you more options. Next is Mega Mech 7/8 Vanilla. Oh, okay. So the higher cost you are, the cheaper you kind of get. So their equivalent is a 7 cost for 8 might, which kind of makes sense. But as we've seen, vanillas are vanillas. You play them because you have nothing else or nothing better to play, which means this card probably won't see a lot of play unless there's really no other option. Next we have the runes here. So the moon, the crescent moon stuff. So very cool spacey looking thing, and then you have this one here. It's just a very technological space looking thing. It's awesome. I like how that looks too. I'm just really happy with how they designed the simple version and then the more art version, more art version of it, the full art here. Like I just love the looking at them, because sometimes whenever you have like cards and card games like these, when you have a full art, sometimes this is just meh, right? But this one actually looks really nice, that even if you don't have the full art, you're still okay with this, unless you're like, oh, I need full art everything. Yeah, that's not even possible, but you know. But yeah, it's just really, really cool to see how nice this looks, and then how nice this looks as well. Next is Orb of Regret. The gear, give a unit -1 this turn to a minimum thing for 1. So this one, gear, not sure if it's good enough. Obviously, probably played in Ari out of the decks that we have for this color, because now we just gain an extra -1 as well. So yeah, probably won't see play. Pit Crew 3/3 when you play a gear, ready me. So this one has potential, but obviously it's reliant on you playing gear. If, as we've seen, the gears don't tend to be amazing. It really will take like insane gear to be like, oh yeah, this card isn't, we'll play this. So obviously this will be played on a like a gear heavy deck if that's ever in the future, right? But as of right now, from what we've seen so far with the gears, I'm not very impressed, or I wouldn't say I'm not impressed. Like they're okay, but I'd just much rather play other cards, except for the gear that basically pay itself and like change the cost, that kind of thing. Next is Riptide Rex 6/6/2. When you play me, deal 6 to an enemy unit at the battlefield. So this card is good. Enter the field effects usually are really good, just because it's an extra. You get a body and then something else on top. and this one just reads kill something when you play me. Granted, like the nice thing with this is it's not deal 6 to a unit, so I believe you can still play this even your opponent doesn't have enemy and it just does nothing. So that's so cool. But yeah, given that it can damage 6, it feels really good. And then obviously you'd probably like something like this in the Kaisa, where you can just deal something damage. Maybe even in Ari probably you'd still play it. Deal 6 enemy to a unit and then pull some and then charm something and kill them type thing, right? So a lot of potential. So this card is gonna see play and it's a good later game card, right? So yeah. Next, smoke screen spell for 2 cost, 1 rune. Give a unit -4 this turn to a minimum of 1. Yeah, -4 is good. That's a lot of reduction, and this is the reaction speed, so that is amazing. You know, if you watch the other videos, I kept talking about anything that changes the might, I want them at reaction speed, just because it adds so much layer, and then you don't have to commit to display, right? So it feels really good to have a card like this. I really like this, and I expect this card to see a lot of play on a lot of decks. In this color, for example, in Victor, it's good because you know you could kill now a token, or your token can now kill a 5 might unit. In Ari, it's good. Just keep producing them. In Kaisa, it's good because it's a 2 cost removal spell essentially, because you don't have to pay that rune cost. So yeah, I expect this to see a lot of play. Next is Sprite Call. Hidden action. Play a ready 3 sprite unit token with temporary. Oh, alright. So this is cool. This is really cool. So this is first time I've seen something like this in the cards that we've seen so far. So essentially what this is an action speed, so you can start essentially a showdown, and then you can automatically add a 3 power with this card. So that is really cool, because yeah, it's just play on your turn, and you play basically on, you can play it on battlefields, right? Imagine if that didn't work, where you can only play in your base, then this card would suck. But yeah, I expect this card to be really good, and since it's hidden, I expect this card to get played, especially in something like Teemo. Next is Stupefy. 1 cost spell, giving it -1 to minimum of 1, draw 1. Reaction speed, holy. 1 cost, draw 1. That, yeah. Play as much of this as you can. Fit as much of this if you can. If you have no other cards to play in the color, play this. 1 cost, draw 1. Just sounds really good. Yeah, no, this card I expect is really good, and you probably play as much of this as you can. I'm just gonna say that play as much of Stupefy you can as you can. Next is Watchful Sentry. 2 cost, 1 might, Death Knell, draw 1. So Death Rattle in Hearthstone, if you play that, or any other basically death effects. Okay, draw is good. You play something like this in the Lux deck, maybe Ari deck, but I don't know if other decks would want it. Maybe, I don't know. Some of the decks feel like they don't want this unless they really need to draw, in which we have another card that draws. But yeah, mostly probably control type card. Next is Blastcone Fey. 2 cost, 2 might, 1 rune. The hidden, when you play me, give a, you can hide units too. I thought they were just like spells and stuff. Alright, that's cool. When you play me, give a unit or maybe I just never noticed. When you play me, keep going everywhere. Anyway, so I just never noticed the unit can be hidden looking at that, I just assumed they were all spells. Anyways, when you play me, give a unit -2 this turn to a minimum of 1. This can be cool, but I don't really expect it to get played other than in Teemo decks, just because you just play a normal unit instead, and the other decks is just a little too expensive for what it is, even though the effect is really nice. But yeah, you want this card to be, in order for this card to be good, you really don't want to pay all that cost, right? No. Yeah, because just a -2 and you're only at 2, you can kill a 4 might unit. Not enough for the cost. I don't know really. Like, stats wise it's alright, but yeah. Yeah, because the effect is slow, so you're basically doing this, and you're not playing this on the battlefield. It just goes into a... Oh no, you can play this on the battlefield if you control the battlefield. But you don't get the effect, just -2, and then you attack later on. It just seems like a slow card. So next, another gear, 3 cost, add 1 energy conduit. So this one is pretty good. So a deck like Lux probably would love something like this. You know, instead of always paying an extra one of the spells or one of the big costs is essentially -1, and just pay this by paying with this. So yeah, this is one of those that if you have a deck that utilizes this is very, very good. Next, 2 cost gear, recycle 3 from your trash, pay 1, tap, draw 1. The effect is really good. Don't get me wrong. The effect is really good, and again, similarly, like I said there, with like Lux, you probably want this because you just keep drawing at 1 CP every time. After like you've set it up. Now the only thing is this recycle 3. How easy can you get 3 stuff in your battlefield or in your trash consistently? Because the way you get that is either through card effects like this card, which we don't have Jinx here, right? And so far we haven't seen any, so I don't think any of the colors so far would, unless you like build a specific Kaisa discard. I don't know why you would. And then yeah, the other stuff is your stuff dying. One thing though that I'm pretty sure it's not, but I could be wrong, is unit tokens, because they are units are their tokens. I'm pretty sure they do not go onto your trash when they die. I've totally forgot. I think they just go in separate things, goes back in the token stuff, because yeah, you won't be able to recycle them. But if yeah, so the only other really color, the effect is definitely screaming Lux, but the recycle 3, how easily can we do that? Yeah, yeah, so I don't know, probably not playable, but or maybe if the recycle 3 from your trash is easily activated, then yeah, I could see it being playable. Otherwise, yeah, it's another gear that we're just gonna not see a lot of. Next, Jumpcraft Seer 3/3 with 1 rune, vision. Yeah, to describe other friendly units have vision. So I'm assuming this means, yeah, oh yeah, this means exactly what I think it does. Is you play this card, and then the next cards you play, you can keep scrying. Unfortunately though, if you like already the top card, then the rest of the stuff that you play until you can draw that card with just you looking at the same thing. So yeah, that's not like, while having information is good, doing it too much is not beneficial really. So there's probably other 3 costs that just gonna be slotting in better in your decks than this. So yeah. Next is mushroom pouch for 2 gear. So it looks like a lot of the gears are in blue so far. They have quite a bit of gear. So yeah. At the start of your beginning phase, if you control a face down card at a battlefield, draw 1. Oh, okay. So this one's definitely a Teemo card. Yeah. Battle can't always prepared Teemo. It works with Teemo, with the hidden stuff. The other thing that this will be good at is Ari, because we have obviously some of the hidden cards, but this as well, Sonya's Hourglass. So yeah, but at the same time it is a gear, so in Ari, while it's good, the other card just seems better, but definitely this card worth considering when you're making an RE deck. In Teemo, this probably you just probably play this. It seems good to just get a free draw. Don't get 2 draws, like yeah, like Jinx, you get 2 draws, but in a more, or not in a, sorry, not in an aggro deck, right? So yeah, cool. Definitely playable card. Next is Portal Rescue. Spell 3 cost with 1 rune. Banish a friendly unit, then play it to base, ignoring its cost. Alright, so this card seems really good. So why is this? People probably would think, oh, you banish a friendly unit, that's kind of bad. I know you just play it again, but ignoring the cost, yada yada yada. But if you recall, right, something like this. But this is why ETBs enter the battlefield, or effects, or not enter the battlefield, sorry, for in this case, it enter the base, whatever. When something enters the field, alright, it's good. Those effects are good. It's because of cards like this. Well, while it's already good that it does something on entry, cards like this make it also better, right? So yeah, whether or not this will be playable, probably not at a max count, but if your deck has a lot of those, then yeah, this becomes more likely. The other thing with this as well, that is to not be overlooked, is that when you play this, right, you can also play this on a a battlefield, a unit with that's on the battlefield, to kind of give them a retreat, right? So a lot of stuff with this, so you could expect that you could probably play this card in some decks. Next is Raven Bloom Student. When you play a spell, give me +1 this turn. Alright, Kaisa probably loves this deck, or this card. Lux loves this card, and probably any Ari probably would love this card as well, just because she has a lot of cheap spells, right? And at worst it's just a T2. So yeah, really good card, and this is probably a staple in blue. Next is Retreat for 1 cost. Spell reaction. Return a friendly unit to its owner's hand. Its owner channels 1 rune exhausted. It doesn't, though. It channels a rune exhausted, so that part is cool. So basically, for 1, you return a friendly unit to your hand, and then you get a rune. Not bad, really. Just don't know how to judge it completely, but it reads very well because it's at a reaction speed, so you could save a unit, right? That's dying, save it, and then you still get a free rune. So that feels really good. Whether or not it's better than playing something like On Guard to save your unit. On Guard, by the way, is the green card here. So I'm just comparing it because it's like roughly the same cost and to basically save your unit. I guess it depends on the deck. Alright, but so far we haven't seen. I'm just thinking if any of these decks probably. Yeah. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, the card looks super playable. Next is Singularity, 6 cost, 2 rune cost saved, or 2 rune to recycle. Deal 6 to up to each of up to 2 units. Again, that's all we're seeing. Basically, what I thought will happen when something like Lux, it's the big spell costed cards, or sorry, the high costed spell cards. They are really control heavy in terms of their effects. They are to control the board state, kill the board state, that kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely looks, it's looking more of like the control deck of this format. And yeah, Singularity is obviously going to be playable. Deal 62 units, feels really strong. So yeah, even in Kaisa, this is probably insane too. 6 cost and then 1 rune instead of 2. Let me just check something in here. And then Falling Star, so 2 to 8. 8 cost for 3 rune back to deal 9 to 2 units, or 6 and 12 to 2 units. Yeah, that just reads very well, right? That just seems really good. So yes, for sure, Kasha would play at least one of these, I feel. So yeah, good card there. Next is Sprite Mother, 4/3. Wow, with 1 rune there. When you play me, play already 3 Sprite unit token with temporary here. Interesting. So, oh, so it's ready. It plays it ready. So you can play this at the base, and then the Sprite unit, it's ready to move. Okay, then yeah, I could then definitely just play this. Even though it's temporary, it's basically a flexible 3 boost. It could either score you point, and then it's whatever after. It can help you buff up a unit, right? So you wanted to kill something, it can help you beef up the 2, and have another attacker there to come in. So yeah, Sprite Mother reads well, and I expect that card to be played. Next we have a 5/4 Ava Achiever. When I attack, you may pay a rune to play a card with hidden from your hand here, ignoring its cost. Huh. Okay, that's cool. So 5/4 rune, and then play a hidden. Oh, a card with hidden from your hand here. I thought you can just play a hidden. No. So if I'm reading that correctly, what that does then is, instead of, playing a hidden like this, where where you pay the hidden cost and keep it hidden, you just you don't actually have to hide it. You just need to have the hidden word in there. But if I'm understanding that correctly, if it has a hidden word, you can just play it as if you just play the card, right? So another hidden 2, 3, there's another one. So for example, this, right? You don't need to hide it. You just slap it, and it becomes a 2-card combo with basically a 5/4 draw 2 for the cost of 5, and then a rune. So I don't think there's good enough hidden that you do this to kind of get the effect, but you still probably would play at least one of these in the Teemo deck just because you have so many hitting cards, which means you got options the way you want to play them. Next is Convergent Mutation. 2 cost and 1 rune. Reaction, choose a friendly unit, increase its might until it equals the might of another friendly unit. Huh. Interesting. My mind automatically went to Ari, because Ari has access to that card and Caitlyn. So Caitlyn can get a buff up to go higher and then kill something, right? So something like that. See, it feels really cool. So yeah, and then yeah, you also have access to Yasuo, which means in Yasuo attacks, so you can buff up Yasuo with this, and then you can attack into something and deal that much might. So yeah, I expect this to be a cool spell and expect this spell to see some play. Next is Dr. Mundo. Really cool with the new art here of Mundo. 8 cost, 8/6. Cycle 2 runes. My might is increased by the number of cards in your trash. At the start of your beginning phase, recycle 3 from your trash. Oh, okay. So I guess in blue there's a good amount of good ways to kind of get trash, right? But yeah, so at the beginning of your cycle 3, so it goes -3. But if you have a lot, then this guy's just huge. So few things. If we can have an easy access to getting a lot of trash, because this card's a late game card, you will have some trash there anyways. But it's also a ticking kind of bomb in a sense, or not ticking bomb. Like it deflates the longer the unit is, but for the few turns that you play it, like yeah, it's just wrong. So for example, when do you want to play this? Probably closer when you're winning, right? You want to get to 7, you get to 7, now you don't know if you can hold it. You play a Mundo, now the Mundo is huge, so they need to kill it or else you just win the game the next turn. So it's a threatening endgame card. Yeah, so I expect this card to see play on some of the decks. Yeah, that's about it. Next is Echo. 5/5, cost 1, current accelerate, pay 1, and then Death Knell, recycle me to ready your runes. Recycle to ready the runes. Oh, that's a threat, right? We've already discussed that, you know, having recycle is good. So, or sorry, not recycle. Readying runes is good, so it becomes free. So this card is essentially 6 cost to recycle 2, and then you accelerate, attack with this to kill something cost 5. Even if it's even 5/5, this will die, right? But you recycle him, and then you get your runes back. So there's the combo, and now you kind of just reset a turn. Oh, now that I'm seeing it and talking about it like that, this card is very, very cool thematically, just much like the Blitzcrank, right? Actually, it's the same thing with Mundo too. It's very, very nice how they designed some of these cards. Like Mundo in the game, he becomes really, really buff when he uses his ultimate ability, and then he goes back to kind of like normal. So he gets strong for a moment, with a lot of health and stuff like that. And after the time runs out, he goes back to normal. So that's kind of how this effect is. Starts off really strong, and then you start recycling stuff from your trash, and then he deflates, and it's not as big as before. And then Echo, he's a time winder. So yeah, basically with him, you use the effect, you kill something, and then you kind of just rewind and you get to turn back. That is cool. I really like the way they designed some of the champs. You could tell that there's a lot of love and care to match the champions in League. So, yeah. Next is Heimerdinger, 3/3 with 1. I have all the abilities of all friendly legends, units, and gear. Oh, that's cute. Interesting. Friendly legends, huh? That means this, that means this. Yeah, or yeah, sorry, it has to be the doll ability. So yeah, I said it, but we're ignoring these two. But with Kaisa, Teemo, and Victor, gear obviously. You look at the gears. Yeah, downside is they have to be on the field. The legends will always be, but like the units and the gear, they have to be on board. It's a cool card. I don't know if it's gonna be playable. Just because effects like this tend to not be. But unless it's like insanely broken that you need to double it, then maybe. Alright, next is Kaisa, 6/6. 1 ganking. When I conquer, you may play a spell from your trash with energy cost less than your points without paying its energy cost, then recycle it. Huh. So that seems cool. Is that better than the other Kaisa? Let's just compare real quick. Here. So Kaisa, when I conquer, draw 1. And the other one is ganking, 6/6, a little bit more expensive. You also lose a rune for it to play it. The ganking is cool. When I conquer, you play a spell from your trash. You got less than your points. Less than your points, meaning that. I might prefer the other Kaisa for a Kaisa deck. Just because the spells are fairly cheap that you want to play anyway, that this just doesn't feel as good. I'm just thinking of when this feels good to play, and it's probably more on like a Lux deck, right? You play one of the huge spells, ignoring the energy cost, and then you draw with, yeah, if it, how I think, if it's printed cost, then you draw with Lux still, which is something that I need to look at. Yeah, that's how kind of that would work. So this one probably good on that type of deck, and the Kaisa deck probably not, because you just the energy cost is just whatever. You just play the cheap spells, right? Rather than playing this, and then the other Kaisa gives you a draw as well, and draw is really, really strong, right? So yeah. Kaisa, same thing, just different art, really nice. Next is Mauls. Kill a friendly unit or gear. Tap, action, add 2. Ooh. 4/3. So this is probably really good in Victor, because you just play tokens and you kill them, and then you got the add ability, which is really awesome. Or yeah, so you don't have to pay root cost. Now, issue with this obviously is that you tap it, which means that you cannot attack with it when you play it, right? So unless it's already on the battlefield, then no, that part don't matter. But it's flexible enough that, yeah, I expect to see this card to see some play. Alright, it really depends. Probably, yeah. No, Malzahar is cool. Next is Progress Day, 6 cost, draw 4. Whoa. Draw 4? Yeah, Lux. Draw 5. 6 cost, draw 5. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. In Kaisa, is that good? 6 cost, draw 4, no recycle. Maybe. So you get just extra spells, right? Yeah, no, I expect this card to see play. Draw 4 just feels crazy. Yeah, I'd probably put this in blue decks. Next is 5 cost spell here with 1 rune cost. Each player looks at the top 5 of their main deck, chooses one and recycle the rest. Starting with the next player, each player plays those cards, ignoring energy cost. Nope. 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 While it is cool, and this is probably really fun in like a free-for-all setting with 4 people, just because everyone just plays whatever unit, because that thing is just like commander, right? It's fun, it's whatever. The problem with cards like this is you're not only your opponent also doing something. You don't kind of want that, right? That's a scary thought to have for them. They do this, and you're just like, ooh, yikes. Yeah, in a 1v1, you don't want your opponents getting stuff like free stuff, right? So to me, that's a big no. Next is Thousand-Tailed Watcher, 7/7/1 rune. Then you can accelerate. When you play me, give enemy units -3 this turn to a minimum of 1. Give enemy units, not a enemy unit. So all of them get -3. That's dope. Late game card. And then I could see this obviously in like Kaisa. In a Kaisa where you can just deal 3 damage to 2 units. Or do this twice, deal 3 damage rather, sorry. Yeah, so this one, you see this in Kaisa, you'll probably see this in a lot of other blue decks. -3 just allows you to just kill something. And if they all have -3, then yeah, even like for example Victor, right? Like if they have like 4, 5 cost units, you have tokens. Now it's easy for you to actually kill them 4 or 5 might units with your tokens rather than struggling. So yeah, I expect this to see a lot of play. Next is Victor, Innovator. When you play a card in your opponent's turn, player 1 recruit token on your base. Is that the Victor that we want to play? I want to see the other one, but in terms of what I see in here, the 4/3 on rune, yeah. This is though it's a cool effect because then you gotta recruit on your base. The only thing though is you have to play a card in your opponent's turn, which is reactions. So with that being said, because that's so super reliant, and for the cost of it, it's probably not playable unless it is like your Victor of choosing. Would you want to put this in your deck? Probably not, though. At least not in any of the other colored decks. Maybe in Victor you might. Different skin. I like how they did that too. It's like the alt arts are the skins for the champ. Cool. Next is Wraith of Echo, 6/5. Each time a friendly unit dies, each turn draw a card. Draw a card, basically. So this card is dope. You probably see this in Victor a lot. Because it is friendly unit. Yeah. Victor tokens will die. You can just sack a token to draw a card, if ever. And this doesn't say on your turn only. So this is each turn. So it could have trigger in your opponent's turn too. So you can just draw during your opponent's turn. Draw means more options. 100% I see this in Victor decks. You could probably see this. Just see this in Lux deck. Probably not, because you probably don't have as much friendly units, even though you like to draw. Ari, maybe. Kaisa, I don't think so. Timo, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Next card we have is Ari here. So this is the blue Ari. So this will be directly compared to the green one. When I attack or defend, give an enemy unit here -2 to a minimum of 1. Okay. So this Ari, we're comparing it to the other one. The other, yeah, so this Ari here. Oh, I like this one a lot. Oh man. Actually, I like them both, but I like this one a lot. So Ari, the other one is when you hold, score another point. Pretty sure that yeah, when I hold, you score 1 point. So that seems good too. That just applies pressure. This one is -2. So this one's cool because this works very well with this. Right, it becomes a -3, so she becomes tough to kill. But it is just a 3/3. I think I might prefer the green one, although I really love the art. The green one, what's the stat on the green one? The 5/4, okay. They are, okay. So between the two, I think you just have to kind of just play around and see which one works better for you. I believe they're fairly equal the more you think about it. You can play either or, I feel, and you just feel like whichever one you prefer better. I think this might be better. I don't know, but this just works with the Ari effect, right? So this one's cool too. They just probably work together that way. Yeah. So -3 when your unit attacks makes it so that she has to be killed by a 6 might at the very least. So that's something, right? Yeah. Actually, the more that you think about it, yeah, definitely, I think this is the one that you play. This is the one that you play in the RE deck, just because how well it works with the spell there. The other one just hold a point. Next is Seal of Insight, or another seal. This one doesn't. This one's cool because like you work with something like this, but compared to like the green one, this does not feel as good as the green one because there's nothing that's overly broken. Although you'd probably play this in Lux because that's the one that have high cost, and if you can remove the cost, the rune cost, it's better, right? But yeah, but so far out of the three, this is probably the weakest one, just in terms of colors, right? Because the gears like this, which is like applied to all colors, you basically just pick, or the way you rank them, just look at the cards, who will use it the most, right? And this one probably not that color. Next is Teemo 2/2, hide hidden. When I defend or played from hidden, reveal the top 5 of your main deck, deal 1 unit here for each card with hidden, then recycle them. I see. Does that work exactly with Teemo? Yes, it does. You can just hide this by paying 1. So this is a 1 cost 2. And deal 1 damage. So yeah, you probably just play this. Would the other Teemo be better? I feel. Yeah, because then you can just bounce this and replay it. That's just really annoying. Okay, so Teemo's very annoying. Because yeah, you hide this, reveal. When you normally reveal it. right? Deal 1 damage to enemy unit. Then you just recycle it. That's just annoying. And then do it again. Deal 1 to an enemy unit. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Yeah, let's just expect that to just be annoying. I'll just Omega Squad Teemo. Yeah. And we're almost done. A few more. Next is Time Warp 10. Cost. Take a turn after this one. Banish this. Whoa. So, it's very expensive. 10 tackle. But you're probably playing this to win the game. Right? Wow. That's funny. Yeah, echo. They just rewind stuff. So this card, obviously we look at Lux base 10, but one thing that you'd probably really want to look at, and I don't know if this is gonna be good, but this one here, not this. Remember I said how this one is probably the Ari of choosing, but if you're playing Time Warp, this might be the Ari of your choosing here. Because Time Warp scores you a point. Right, so if I'm thinking this correctly, if you play this to get you to 6, right? So you play a unit or conquer a unit, win that unit, or battlefield rather, conquer a battlefield, win that battlefield, brings you to 6. Play Ari and you just then you play Ari before, right? I'm just thinking of how the work can change. You can play Ari and Time Warp at the same turn. But play Ari. So basically, if you're at 5, you play Ari, and you have runes to play Echo, you are threatening lethal at that point. If I am thinking that correctly, because what's gonna happen is you take a turn. If they have an open, or if they have a battlefield that you can basically take with Ari, take it. You conquer with Ari, you go to 6, right? And then you play Time Warp, and you just win, because if you score 1 point for Ari, you score another for holding. If that's exactly how it works, the way I am thinking, that you will play this Ari for the Ari deck, or you will play an Ari deck just so you could play this with Time Warp. That is dope, right? If that's reliant on if it works that way, but if not, then this card is still cool because it's just like basically a super late game card. Basically, you play this if you know you're winning the game. That could be through Lux, right? You have, say, you've been controlling the game for too long. Right, or even Victor, you have units, right? So you just keep getting thing. You control, basically you control the game, but then you have 2 units in there, or you hold a unit, you go to 7, right? You conquer, you go to 7, and then you don't know how to end the game. You feel like your opponent can blow back. You just play Time Warp and win the game from there, right? So that kind of thing. So, yeah, I expect this card to see play. Definitely, if it's good, it's gonna be the Ari combo that I just talked about. If not, then I also still expect it to see in Lux. It's not another option. That's not like a one-off option. Maybe in Victor, because you got close to winning, and usually with stuff like this, with the token decks, if you don't overwhelm them enough, it's kind of hard to close out. And Kaisa, probably not as much, because you just want spells that are cheaper than this. This is a little too expensive, so yeah. Next is uncheck power 7 to exhaust all friendly units, then deal 12 to all units at battlefields. Just a board clear. I think this is the first. This is the first true. Oh no, it's not true to 12 units, but I don't think we've ever seen anything that is 12 to all units at battlefield. I don't think we've seen anything higher. Anyways, you might have said 7. I think maybe Mundo could get higher, stronger than that. But yeah, 8. Like most of the stuff that we've seen have not reached 12 unless by card effects. So essentially, this is a board wipe at cost like that. 7 and then 1 rune with Kaisa, right? Kaisa, yeah. So I expect this in Kaisa. Gives them board wipe. You probably, but usually board wipes is like a one-off in a deck unless it's truly like a control deck like Lux. So yeah, I expect to see a lot of this. This card is 100% playable. You just probably never play this card at max counts in your decks. Alright, and yeah, so that's basically the cards in the mind domain color there in that blue. Yeah, so let's look at some of the cards here and kind of pick our favorite. I believe Stupefy definitely is up there. Yeah, it's probably Stupefy for my favorite spell, but Stupefy definitely tied with Time Warp. Time Warp just so cool. The idea of being able to do the RE combo, again, under the assumption that that works exactly the way I think, but yeah, if that's the way it works, that's very, very dope. And yeah, so RE is cool because you have the typical RE build probably, which is like this and this, just because they work so well together. And then you have the alternate RE build where you play the other RE just because that's a way to have the RE available, right? You always have an RE available to play, and then just go into Time Warp. So you just keep the RE there until you could play it at 5, at 5 score, and then that's dope. And then for the cards, yeah, think the favorite unit that I've seen is this Raven Blooms. Pretty good, reads very well, and Riptide Rex. Riptide Rex is pretty good as well. So yeah, so far we've determined, yeah, like Kaisa, you probably don't play this on the Kaisa deck unless you're playing a Kaisa with like heavy, more control based Kaisa, but I don't think you would, just because the cheap red is just so powerful. Or yeah, cheap red is so powerful, you probably don't want to play them on the expensive ones anyway. And then the other one just kind of gives you things to do, more things to do. But yeah, and there's Mundo's cool. And then you got RE, 2 builds of RE are emerging. One is just the Time Warp RE, and then RE. Very cool, very dope. So that's it for the mind cards here. On the next video, we'll be taking a look at here the body rune and the body domain and their cards that belong to them. And that's basically it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Alright, and last but not least, you guys know the drill. You guys should drink your veggies. Okay.